The entire world has been a whole lot greener since Simple Green came to town. Green in the sense of clean. Green in the sense of a non-toxic, biodegradable, non-flammable, non-abrasive, environmentally ideal solution for cleaning almost anything under the sun. But remember the 70s, the days of deadly chemicals? Bruce Fabrizian, the founder of Simple Green, does. He and his dad were dropping off a delivery at a plating plant one terrible and fateful day.
And we saw a man fall in a vat. And when I pulled him out, all the meat fell off his bones from the waist down, and he died in front of me. And so right there and then I was so overwhelmed that my father and I spent the next 3 years trying to develop a safer alternative to toxic cleaning.
Bruce's father was a chemical engineer, so that surely helped. But creating Simple Green was one thing, educating consumers about the value to our environment of switching to it from their familiar household cleaners, quite another. Then Bruce's dad died, and the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Bruce took a bold approach.
I went to all 23 suppliers with a piece of paper asking for a moratorium on interest, which was running 22% in that time period, 1980, and asked them if they would give me a moratorium. I would pay them 120% of what I owed them that day, and I would split each dollar I got up and give 50 cents to them proportionately until I was paid off.
Simple Green has exploded since then, now selling over 100 related products in 27 countries, heading for $100 million annually in sales this year. By making so many products so good for the environment, Sunshine Makers naturally became a world leader for ecology. All the more so when it set up the Everything's Gonna Be All Right, or Egg Bar Foundation, complete with mascot. 1% of the company's profits now pass through the Egg Bar Foundation to educate all who listen about the importance of preserving the environment. One look around Simple Green corporate headquarters and it's clear whatever grows and whatever crows is truly valued. One look at the outside and it's even more obvious. Green is not just a slogan here, it's a way of life. In Huntington Beach, California, Bruce Page, First Business. Mannequins may do nothing for you, but frozen in time reflections of ourselves, so to speak, they can create a memorable moment or help to sell merchandise. When they've had their day and headed for the boneyard, chances are they end up here, the Mannequin Gallery in Burbank, California. Rebirth comes at the hands of Walt Wilkie, a transplanted Midwesterner who once chanced to meet a department store mannequin repairman and became his assistant for several years thereafter.
Yeah, that was great because that taught me about every possible conceivable mannequin, you know, from the current things to the older things, what they were made out of, how to, you know, what entailed, you know, the specific repairs. You know, if their head was blown off, you know, was it easier to fix the head or just, you know, make a new one? And so it gave me a good solid background. And, you know, I also got to talk to people for 6 years, finding out what, you know, what they liked about this, what they hated about another one, all that kind of thing.
Walt headed to Hollywood, thinking he could carve out a warmer territory for his talent in California. But it was slow sledding until he teamed up with Shelley Freeman. His skill merged with her promotional pizzazz, and together they became a dynamic duo, connecting with studio set decorators and prop masters all over town. How big can this little enterprise grow, you ask?
Big. Well, you know, what's helpful to us is there's more and more TV shows because of cable and all the stations. All of that is good news for us. Any shows moving into town. We just heard that the X-Files is moving back to, you know, into LA from Canada, and that's good news for us. So I think it's huge.
After years in the business now, it's doubtful there's any mannequin shape Walt could not supply. And with a revenue curve that's on the upswing 40% a year, the Mannequin Gallery's clearly found its way to the stars. Those are the rewards for those who dare to take the risks. In Burbank, California, Bruce Page, First Business.
Hi, I'm Victoria Principal.
Hi, I'm Vanna White.
Familiar faces, aren't they? Seen them lately on TV selling stuff? Besides being infomercials, what they also have in common is they're produced by two gutsy guys, Guthrie and Rinker. Gutsy because they took a big risk, blazed a trail, and shaped what is today a $5 billion industry, generating more than $100 million every year right here alone.
We got into the infomercial business at just the right time, as did several of our competitors. Independent stations were floundering in the TV business. So were broadcast stations beginning to flounder. They needed our advertising dollars. They couldn't afford to continue to buy programming. We came along when television was deregulated, said, we'll pay you for that whole half hour. They were used to buying half hours, such as Gilligan's Island, and trying to fill it with commercial time. We said, you don't have to do that anymore. We're going to put money in your pocket. They said, this is too good to be true.
Operating an audio tape duplication company 10 years ago, Bill Guthrie was tipped off by a new customer who paved their way.
I got a phone call from a guy who said he needed a very large number of cassettes duplicated. It was 12 masters. He needed 10,000 of each, or possibly 20,000 of each. I gave him the quote. Didn't think about it again, because many, many people call asking for that kind of volume, and it never materializes. They're just dreaming about it. About a week later, he walked in the office with the master tapes and a deposit check for half the amount, and needed to turn around in like 10 days. Huge job for us then. We scrambled. We got it done. And I'd say for every week, he came and ordered that amount for about 3 months.
The customer was generating such incredible response from infomercials he ran on emerging cable networks. Bill saw a similar opportunity with Think and Grow Rich books and audio tapes, so he acquired the rights. Friend and kindred spirit Greg caught the vision too, so they joined forces and off they charged.
When our very first infomercial for Think and Grow Rich worked, we thought that the world was our oyster and that we could pretty much try anything we wanted to. And we did, and we made a lot of mistakes. We learned quickly that there are a lot of things that don't work and some that will keep working over and over. But the first couple of times we hit, we thought that it was Katie bar the door.
85% of infomercials fail, but growing pains of what works and what doesn't are less likely to sandbag them now, having the money and muscle of New World Television invested in the enterprise. Are you ready for 24-hour infomercial channels? Don't be surprised if Guthrie Rinker someday owns their own. Graduation day indeed for two gutsy guys who literally started on a ground floor. In Palm Desert, Bruce Page, First Business.